As Isabel said, I actually went through and found a new villager. I wish it wasn't raining, because that means tomorrow we're cleaning up flowers. I don't want to clean up flowers. The other day I think of nothing in particular, but someone thought of you. Not sure why, but I thought I'd better send you a quick note just in case you felt like writing back. I don't. I have not written a single letter this entire series. I am really bad at remembering to write letters. Like, I'm just the worst at it. But here's our new villager, Norma. Steven, so glad we met on that island. And that I'm all moved in here now. Still got lots of unpacking to do, but I'm really looking forward to spending time together here. I am too. Now, my very first ticket, I did encounter a villager where I was like, man, I want them. But I had bought 20 tickets. And I want to know if that's ever happened to any of you guys. Where, like, you spend so many Nook Miles on Nook Miles tickets. Start going hunting for villagers. Find one that you're like, I love this villager right away. But, like, it's not a villager that, like, you know of. It's just you randomly encountered this villager and you loved their design. And then you're like, but I just spent so many miles. Surely I'll find someone as good or better. And I mean, I did after 14 more tickets, but I was really regretting it. I can't even remember her name right now, but she's one of the hippos. Had kind of like a sailor outfit on, and looked super freaking cute. Also looked very, like, edgy goth, and I kind of loved that. But she was the first ticket, so I'm just like, But yeah, I don't really have the most to talk about today. I mean, mostly all I've been doing is playing Voices of the Void. So, like, which, you know, I've been having quite the amount of fun with streaming. The previous stream, that would have been Thursday, I microwaved the Wendigo, which, if that sentence doesn't make you go, what? And then go want to see what happened, I don't know what's going to. But I microwaved a Wendigo. So I think it's technically a furfur, which is a type of Wendigo, but not quite. It's weird. There's so many cryptids, man. But I microwaved a Wendigo, and it wasn't happy about this. There are many things you can do in Voices of the Void that will cause problems for you. Now, this one, the biggest problem it causes is it basically makes it so you can't save easily. Because effectively what happens is you start getting haunted by the Wendigo, and because it's haunting you, you basically are constantly being harassed by entities, and when there's an entity nearby, you can't save. You're just not allowed. So, you know, that's fun. So, you know, leave it to me to do stuff like that, just because I'm like, it's bonito. I opened a locker in my base's basement, and just some body parts fell out. And then I sold some of those body parts because I needed money. Nice running into you, Tall Nut. One chat. Struggling to come up last minute dinner plan, Tall Nut. Aw. I have some candy, but that's not dinner. I had just some mashed potatoes and some chicken. Wasn't bad. Definitely not the most filling of dinners, but, you know. I kind of want, like, a deadpan serious horror movie, but with a protagonist with as few survival instincts as I have, just somehow making it. Like, literally having an instance like that. Can you imagine in a horror movie, like, they're like, yeah, I need those rocks from the basement. They walk down, open the cupboard that those rocks were in, and just multiple bodies just fall out. And they're just like, oh, bodies. Anyway, so these rocks, it's like, dash this, smidge of that. This is hard to make stuff taste good. Not me, that's who. What you making? Also starts craving, started making yourself some fruit cupcakes. Cupcakes are pretty good. Pretty sure I already have that recipe, though. I am still missing some fruit as well, but it's fine. I remember way back in the early parts of this series, there was someone who really wanted some pears, and I was trying to figure out how to, like, help them with that. I hope they got their pears. But, yeah, I just think that would be hilarious. And then, like, you know, they find a creepy skull inside of a, you know, an abandoned, rundown log cabin in the middle of the woods. They take the skull home, throw it in the microwave. Like, nice running into you, Snorty. It's the latest. Glad you're never too busy checking with me, Butterby. Aww. I heard someone else wandering around. Don't know if they're up here or down there, but... Oh, this music! I was not yawning at all before I started recording. This freaking music, man. Tutu! Oh, Steven. Hi there, my fabulous bestie. Let's chat. Guess what? I was playing single-player hide-and-seek and I won. So bored. So play with Pinky! You two both like hide-and-seek. Play hide-and-seek. You can play it with just one other person. It's actually a lot more fun when you do it that way, I find. But yeah, I actually got thinking of this while I was streaming Voices of the Void, but like, that game has come a long way since I first learned about the game. Like, the base itself, just on the map, has had, I think, 4 iterations, maybe more. It's had 4 that I know of. And like, the final one is more just changing around some of the minor layout stuff, but like, it's had like 3 major versions. Like, hey, it's CJ. Alright. So we do got CJ. That wasn't all, but I do agree with Isabel that, you know, CJ was... It's just not very important. You know, it is raining, so I should probably buy this but jacket. I mean, I could. Quite literally, I can buy this but jacket. Pop into the fitting room. It's a very fitting room. Morning coat. Which is... Okay, it's not the exact same vest. It looked like it was, but it's close enough. Same tie. You know what? Whoops. Go loafers. I think the loafers, actually. I think I already have many black loafers, but I don't think I have any brown ones. Ooh. Yes. Oh, jeez. I ate so long ago. Why am I gassy now? because I'm finally talking now. My body is having the ability to actually expel the gas. That's what's going on. You were expecting an especially chilly winter. I've made a lot of good warm stuff to choose from. I hope you find something you like. Aww. I like this dress. It doesn't look very warm at all, but I like it. VR goggles, I like those too. Pretty impressive that she can sew VR goggles. Like, that is... You gotta hand it to Sable. That is very impressive. Come see Simon. Simon! What is up, my man? Professor Zoop. Thanks for coming by. It was cool to see you. One chat. Someone told me if you wish on a shooting star, your wish will come true. Next time I see one, I'm gonna wish for that. Talking all you can eat. Yeah, pile of that never runs out. If my wish comes true, I'll share it with you. Sounds good, my man. I have no idea what that is. If it's mint flavored, you can keep it. Though I appreciate you keeping Christmas things, because that sounded very Christmassy. That had like Noel in it, so I'm assuming Christmassy. I'd appreciate it if that was kept until at least like after the 11th. Can we at least do that? So I think it's the 11th. That's Remembrance Day. It's around there. Honestly, just wait till the end of November. That'd be most ideal. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. Come on in out of the rain. Let's talk. I've been wondering, do you ever think back to when you first came to our island? My first memory is stepping off a plane and being greeted by the sweet scent of pears. And that smell whisks me right back to my first moments here. A lovely reminder of that cherished time. Aww. I do remember my first steps here. I also remember not fully knowing how I was going to record this series. Because, like, if y'all remember, I initially was doing a day and a half ahead. So, like, I was staying up all night. And then, like, I was recording a day and 12 hours ahead of time. And then I was like, no, this feels wrong. Because I basically always had 2 episodes ready to go, like, uploaded. Now I kind of wish I was still doing that. Talk with Diva. Stop bonking her. Perfect fishing weather. Time to catch a few fishies, queen. Very fair. But, yeah, I remember that. And I might go back to that at some point. Because, like, that was a really convenient way to record for me. Because, like, I still had the same amount of time to get a recording done. But it was a lot less stressful. Not that this is stressful, but it was even less so. It did mean, however, that I couldn't really talk about recent things, because they would always be a day, or basically 2 days behind. So, you know. And then I shifted to 12 hours, and that 12-hour gap worked, but boy was that stressful. So assess some fossils. And then about the time I stopped with that 12-hour gap is around the time I was like, you know, I should start hanging out with the 8-bit community again. And I'm really glad I did, because, like, that community is just so positive. And, like, it's just such a nice place to be that, like, I can't imagine not having gone back there, you know? Especially where I've made a few friends there now, too. Like, that's pretty cool. I would like some pigeon milk. Nice vibes. But, yeah. This year's been quite a journey. And I'm gonna try to actually, like, reminisce a little bit on this year coming up in December. I know I said I was gonna do that last year, and then I more or less just didn't, but that's because of how last year was. Like, This is probably the first time in my life that something feels like it's happened decades ago. But, like, I've got to remind myself that, like, my life kind of fell apart last year. Early last year, but last year. Like, and I just didn't want any of that. Like, I'm still picking up the pieces all these months, over a year later, you know. It's not exactly a great time. Not gonna lie. Free? That plant is free? Boys, I can't believe it. 75. Yeah, I thought by now the prices would just be tanked. Wait, no. Keep the mushroom. I'm just gonna sell the twinkling painting. I've already got it donated. I don't really want it in my house. May as well get some of my money back. Yeah, I'll probably be back for a fishing rod. So. I am trying to think of what I'm gonna do for the rest of tonight. So I'm probably gonna be up for a bit longer. I've been trying to stay up until at least around like 8:39. Because like for a while there I was trying to like go to sleep so I could be awake for like 2 a.m.-ish. But that was when I was still under the impression that I almost certainly had a job that was about to require me to be awake by like 3 in the morning. So, you know, now that I don't have that, I kind of want to go back to being awake a little later in the day. Because I missed some funny moments of 8-Bit stream, but like, it was worth it because I was gonna have a job, probably. Yeah. Alright, CJ. What do you got for me this time? Yeah, I got... challenge, man. Challenge. Alright. Small fry. 3 in a row. Alright. Yep. I know. I'm aware. Alright, let's see what's in this river. Nothing. Wait, that's kind of a small fry. If this is actually a small fry, then that's just where I'm starting, I guess. Gobby! Okay. Small fry. Oh my, this here Anakin guy. Maybe Vader someday later, now he's just a small fry. If I could actually sing, that'd be great. I mean, if I was actually trying, that would also help, but, you know. Final small fry. Heck yeah. My thumb twitched. That wasn't even me trying to do that. That was my thumb twitching. Because I set my hand on... I have not moved my hand. That's what happened. Well, it means I've got more fish to sell when time comes. It means I can catch this fish without having to worry, because I've already messed up the challenge, so... Cheers, fish! Hey, this is worth... Red snappers are worth a fair bit. I can catch this fish without caring, because I don't know if this classifies as small fry or not. I'd say this is medium, but I don't think there is a medium size. So... Okay. That's a large, or possibly a medium. That's a small fry. That's an Anakin. Get over here, Anakin. I've got the high ground. You can't win. Which I will never understand. Like... Okay, I do get the general idea of high ground equals good if, like, you've also got a longer ranged weapon. But if you're both using the same length of weapon, the person on the lower ground has a much easier time reaching your ankles than you have of reaching them, period. So, like, just hack off the ankles and you win. Especially if you're using lightsabers. You know. Like, it doesn't even make sense in the instance of, like, ranged weapons. Like, it needs to be you with a longer ranged weapon than your opponent. In which case, you already have the advantage. Like... Okay. I know you guys can't see it, but my hand and a half sword on the wall over there is shorter than my long sword. So, and this also, you know, people have to be equivalent height. So if I'm wielding my long sword, and one of you guys, imagining some of you guys are 6 feet, 6'2", somewhere in that range. You're wielding the hand and a half sword. If you're on higher ground than I am, I win. If I'm on higher ground from you with the longsword, depending on how high that ground is, you might win, even still, because there's not a huge difference between the lengths of those weapons. Like, you'd almost have to be, using those as an example, you'd almost have to be using, like, an arming sword, which is about half the length of the hand and a half sword, for the long sword to actually have an advantage while on higher ground. Because the thing to remember is, if you're up here, well, if I'm up here, and you're down here, my sword's here, yours is here, you have a much easier time getting here than I do of getting there. You know, I know finger models aren't exactly the best, but I hope I'm describing that well enough that you can understand why I have always been confused by that notion of having the high ground is an advantage. Because it kind of isn't. It's a disadvantage. Now, generally, in, say, medieval combat, having the high ground would have been a good thing for your entire army. For an individual duel, not so much. Now, it'd be good for your entire army, mostly because you now have a commanding view over the entire enemy formation while they're seeing your front line. Because they're looking up at you while you're looking down at them. So this would be like you're up on a hill top area and they're down in a valley. Like, that makes sense. But in an individual duel, no, it doesn't. The only advantage it would give you is if you're on the plateau of a hill, your opponent is not, and your opponent needs to run up that hill. Nah, I don't want to muscle in on Diva's fishing. Furfish. And that's just because running up that hill is going to exhaust them a lot, and you're already on the plateau, so you can back up. And you're not going to be exerting anywhere near as much energy. But even then, now you've got to hope that you're more fit than your opponent. Because if they're a lot more fit than you are, they may not be bothered by running up that hill at all. Or not enough to actually make any difference. And then, you know, if they have a longer reach weapon, you lose. Because that is kind of the thing with, like, medieval swords combat. And especially going into, like, not Lord of the Rings, Star Wars combat. First hit wins. First hit just wins. Like, there's a chance if you get hit in, like, the back of the hand and don't need both of your hands to wield your weapon, that you might still be able to win. There's a chance. But you're still now probably bleeding out, while your opponent isn't. I hope you can understand why that might be an advantage. You know, like... It's, yeah. I would honestly love to see at some point that, like, tested in a dueling sense between, like, some, like, HEMA experts. Because I can't imagine that just came out of nowhere. But I get the feeling that it's more talking about in the general army v army sense, not individual dueling. And even in army v army, it really depends on the situation. Like, the sacrifice of Battery 151, their final stand, with their final 2 guns, they were fighting from down a hill, which was a massive advantage for them, because they were shooting into tanks that were having to crest a hill. So that tank is like this, coming up over the hill. You can now shoot into the underbelly of the tank with your artillery shell, probably knocking it out. Probably punching a hole right in it, honestly. You know. So, it really does depend. And because they were on the other side of a hill, the Germans didn't know they were there. The Germans thought they had finally won, that their tanks had finally bested this artillery division. Like, that is honestly, like, probably one of the most inspirational losses that you'll find, is the sacrifice of 151. Also known as the last stand of the VC battery. VC meaning Victoria's Cross. Because these were everyday, average artillerymen. Nothing special about them. Just standing their ground and not running away. Facing down tanks over open sights. Like, that is not how an artilleryman ever envisions they are going to be fighting a tank, is through open sights. Which basically means your gun is pointed like this and you are looking over the top of the gun to aim it. You know, you're aiming it like you would a rifle. Your artillery piece. Your gun that's meant to be shooting many kilometers away. Come on, fish. Come on, fish. No, fish. Diva, you picked a really bad spot to fish. Oh my goodness. Fish. Come on, fish. Foosh. Come on. Come on. This fricking fish. This frickin' fish. I'm gonna get you. Oh my god. I'm me when I get you. Frickin' finally. Me when I frickin' get you. If I knew how to edit well enough, I would edit my character basically shaking the crap out of that fish. Ah. It deserves it. Alright, we've got enough. Well, one more camper. I mean, if it notices. I know what I can do. I want to play some Outlast trials. That's what I want to do. Which, I know I've talked about this before, but like the whole premise of that game, if I had played it or heard about it like 2-3 years ago, I would have been like, man, this is the most unbelievable thing I've seen in a while. These days, I'm not so sure. Let's see. 22,000. 25. Ooh, I was close. I was pretty darn close. Alright. Let's get my umbrella out. And then I think that's probably going to be about it for today. I just want to find somewhere to actually end things off. I still need to actually make my other bridge like a proper bridge. Instead of just some logs. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. I thank you all very much for watching. And hopefully I shall see you back here tomorrow for more Animal Crossing New Horizons. See you all then.